Dixie and I are down at the National Seashore again. Today we're looking to see the Starlink launch. Maybe do a little bit of fishing, though it's pretty windy, so fly fishing might be kind of difficult today, but we're going to give it a shot. Anyway, we're just going to check it out and have a good day today. Hopefully it's like 74 degrees and shorts again in February in Florida. So it's a great day. Hopefully we catch something good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and here we go. Well, I think we found where we're going to try to film the launch today. This nice little beach here has a pretty good perspective of 39A. You can't really tell on the GoPro here, but the Falcon 9 is sitting there and ready to go. So we're going to see if we can't set up right here and catch a little bit of the launch. Dixie, come on. Hopefully it's not so windy that you can't even hear a word I'm saying. But we'll see how it turns out. Stay tuned. All right, well, we decided to get a little bit closer to the launch pad, see if we could get a better view. We went out onto the main road in the National Seashore to see if one of the pull-offs would be a pretty good vantage point, which they all are. But I got to talk to one of the park rangers, and it looks like they block off all of those little pull-offs when there's a launch, so the traffic doesn't build up there on the main road. So we're headed back down here onto Biolab Road to see if we can get the best vantage point we can. Maybe standing up on the truck, we can get over some of these trees pretty good. See if we can catch a good vantage point of the launch. All right, well, we finally found where we're actually gonna set up to film the launch. I think this is about as close as I can get. I don't know if you can really see it too much, but 39A is right there, and you can see the Falcon 9 on the pad. For reference, over here is the vehicle assembly building. So, like I said earlier, they look like they block off the... Like I said earlier, it looks like they block off all the pull-offs on the main road in the park, so that you can't jam up traffic when there's a launch. So we pulled off on Biolab Road, just off of the main road here. It's about as close as you can get without being at like the Saturn V Center. So this will be the first time we've seen a launch from this area, and I think it's going to be pretty spectacular. It's super windy out here today, like really windy, so the audio may be super crappy, but we'll see when we get back to the studio how that actually works out. Anyway, we're about 20 minutes out, so we're going to get all ready to go and make sure Dixie's settled and ready for this and film this launch. So here's a little pro tip. Looks like they closed off the entrance to Biolab just before the launch. So if you're back here and you didn't want to watch the launch, you're going to watch it anyway. But we're starting to get a little bit of a crowd. It's a beautiful day. It's like 75 degrees. If it wasn't so windy, it'd be perfect, but I think we're set up for a great launch. We are 8 minutes away. I see venting. Looks like a pretty good sign. We're going to be able to launch today. Alright, we have liftoff. All right, well, lunch was a success. That was pretty cool. This is the first time I've ever been this close to one of the launches, and the sound and the feel and everything was just, it's pretty exciting. If you're in this area and there's a launch going on, I cannot recommend enough that you come down here and watch it from the park. It was a pretty cool experience. There was a family behind me from Minnesota that was out for the park that didn't necessarily come down here for a launch, didn't know what was happening, but got stuck here, and they were pretty excited about it. They never get to see stuff like this up there, so that's pretty cool. It's worth your time to come out here and make the effort to see it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that launch. We're going to spend a little bit more time out here today, maybe do a little fishing, and if I do, I'll bring you along for that. Okay, so as I'm leaving the park, if you're going to come in the main gate, you'd better get here early, because there was a line, I don't know, maybe half a mile long coming out of that thing. So you better get here early, because you'd be stuck in that line and we'd be able to get in the park to see. I highly recommend you come in the back way, cross over, haul over by the manatee observation point and hit Biolab that direction. That way you come out, and even if they've got the roadblock, you still get to come up and see it. So if you're coming through the main gate, come early. If you're coming up Biolab, you may have a little bit of extra time, but they close that gate probably 15 minutes before launch. So it looks like they start shutting things down because folks are going to start looking. Anyway, that's a little pro tip. So if you take Biolab, this is the turn you want right here. You don't want to go up to the boat ramp, you want to take this turn here. Now if you don't have a park pass, here's where you pay for your entrance to the park. This is a entrance to the park. It's not manned, but the rangers are back here pretty regularly. So right here is where you stop and say that you're coming into the park and pay and get your pass. There are multiple places to view a launch along this road. It runs along the water the entire way. So there's plenty of little beaches, well, like small little beaches, and pull-offs and things like that that have a really good view. Right up towards the main road in the park is as close as you can get, but these have really good vantage points and well worth coming back here, especially if the place is really full. These are probably going to be a go-to spot. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro or not, but this first little stretch right there is the launch complex. There's the lightning antennas and 39A right there. So you can see and get a really good view from even back here. And plus, there's endless activities back here. Bird watching, fishing, you name it. But we're going to go through here, and I'm going to kind of point out some of the better places to stop and watch a launch. So we'll see what we can see. This first little pull-off right here, after you come in and take that first straight in, this is a really good spot too. You kind of have to cheat out a little bit past these bushes, but you've got a really good view of the launch, especially if you want to stand in the water a little bit. But it's just right there, so you've got a ton of places. We're going to keep going down this road, and I'll stop at a few that I think are worth stopping at. All right, we're going to call this spot number 3. This one's a really prime viewing spot. Spot 1 and 2 are that we saw on that main straight and the end of the straight, but this place here is really nice. It's got a big pull off. It's got a nice beach area here, so if you've got the family, the kids can play. You can set up chairs right there, and that is a straight on view of the pad. You can see the launch complex right there. I think this probably is the second best viewing place besides the end of the road right by the main road in the park. So if you're coming out here and you've driven by that place up there and it's full, I would come here. This has got a straight view. You're not quite as close, but it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. You're still going to get the full experience. So I'm thinking this is best spot number 2. And the alligators are loving this beautiful day. There's one right here, and then there's a big one here, and that's the third. I guess I've seen like 3 or 4 today. I can't say as I've ever seen an alligator down here before, but I've seen more alligators today than I ever have all at once. That guy right there is pretty big. So after you leave that last spot, you kind of go away from the water for a little while, and then you come back towards it here. Can't really see like at all here. I mean, you could hear it, but you couldn't really see it. But we're getting pretty close to the end at this point. So if you haven't found a good spot, you're going to want to start looking from here. Right here, we're coming up on the end of the one-way portion of the road. There's one way in and one way out if you come in by the boat ramp and the haulover canal, but you can come in and out both ways if you come in from the main road of the park. But right here you'll see that goes back into the lagoon a little bit. If you're looking to do some fishing or something, that's a really good spot. But this is the last stretch of Biolab before you get back out into the park. So this is, from what I've found scouting around and seeing things today, the best place to come. It's as close as you can get, and it gives you a really clear view of the tower and everything like that. So if you can find you a spot at the end of this road, that's ideal. But there are tons of spots just like we just saw on the last road there. Well, Dixie and I are back where we watched the launch now, after kind of going back and doing the loop so we could show everybody all the potential places to watch the launch from here. Now, you can see the launch from my house in Orlando, so anywhere around here, if you're down here for Disney or Universal or something like that and there's a launch, especially if it's at night, you'll be able to see it and hear it potentially. But here you get the raw experience. You get the sound in your chest, and you get to really get a close view of it. So if you're in town and there's a launch, it's worth the trip. It's worth the trip to come down here to see the park regardless, even if there's not a launch. But if there is one and you're a space fan at all, this is the place to come. So I think it's come time for me and Dixie to head back home. I'm glad you guys tuned in to watch, and I hope to see you again soon.